Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, coming to you live for now. You could be watching it on the download later, but it is 1 p.m. post time, the new post time, which I think is going quite well for the Lunchbox. We're home today. Lubie is back at his home base in Coral Springs, and Jeff Defo DeForest back with us today. How are you, Defo?
Doing well. Feeling really good. Yesterday was good. Sorry I missed the show. I love Deck 84. It looked like you guys were well taken care of, and I was looking forward. I guess we had to postpone for a week our Casa Calabria appearance, but I was already tasting some of that Parmesan cheese that's on that plate that they bring out there, the tray, and any pasta tray. And wow, I mean, gonna look forward to being there next week.
Well, you know how it is. Sometimes there's the doctor's appointments and things get in the way, and that's what happened. Plus, our man Frank Talrico, who we always like to see, and we haven't seen in a couple of months. He was away today in the Bahamas. So the planets align. Next Wednesday is going to be a better time for us to go out to, again, a really terrific Italian restaurant that's often overlooked, I would say underrated, but everybody who goes there rates it highly. I mean, it's got all kinds of good ratings and stars on all the different review platforms, and including people who've gone there from the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group. And no, I mean, God, our man, Chef Salvatore, he is a wizard when it comes to those antipasto planners, and that, again, the ricotta gnocchi is one of my favorite dishes in all of town. It's got that, again, the ricotta makes it light as a feather, pillowy, beautiful. So that'll be next week. Looking forward to that. Meanwhile, today, Defo, I went out on a morning walk, and look what I ran into. It's a big hunk of a Cuban sandwich,
Wow,
which I'm going to be not going to do one bite today. I'm going to be nibbling on it throughout the show, but this just speaks to the diversity. I mean, it's incredible here in Broward. And, you know, I know that we always sing the praises of Broward's diversity when we're, you know, with our friends Nikki Mohan, who I was texting with this morning, and also Phil and Kate from the Visit Lauderdale Food Festival. We talk a lot about the tremendous diversity here, and you know, there's over 70 types of cuisines. I actually, on my morning walk of life this morning around my neighborhood in Dania Beach, I encountered two stunning things. Number one was I thought I was on Calle for a second, Defo. I saw a ventanita, which is those windows in these Cuban coffee shops, restaurants, cafes.
Yep.
But there, and it's funny because I've driven by this place for the past whatever months. It's been open 10 months. So it opened earlier this year. It's called Cafe Toque Cubano, Toque, which I guess means like chef's hat, right? That's but it has this little ventanita, this little walk-up window. You could get your cortaditos, your cafe cubanos, and also your sandwiches, and they have breakfast, and I got myself a little Cuban sandwich to go, which was, you know, nice enough because now I'm going to have it on the show. But number two, then I turned the corner on East Dania Beach Boulevard, and what used to be a long time like sub and cheesesteak shop, that was different names, but the most recently was known as Oceans 13 at Dania, which is an offshoot of Oceans 13 on the beach. But anyway, that went out of business. They lost their lease, and what opened up now is a place called Grandma's Secret. Now, right across the street is our friends at Grandpa's, but not Grandpa like
they got back together.
Yeah. But Grandpa's is actually pronounced Grandpa, which was the name of the original owners of that diner and bakery. But Grandma's Secret has nothing to do with Grandpa's, which is now a bagel deli. Our friends Mark Fried and Mark Goldberg, and Mark Fried is out of town, but we're going to get in there hopefully next week. But Grandma's Secret, I heard different things through the grapevine that it was a Peruvian restaurant, some sort of Latino, South American. I walk in there today, and never in a million years would I guess this would be a type of restaurant that would open in Dania Beach, or that there was any kind of maybe market for it. But I'm going to let you take 5 guesses or one guess, and
It's not Cuban. I mean, I thought we are talking about Cuban.
well, I was talking about the first Cuban place was on Federal Highway. Then I turned the corner at Grandma's Secret. The Cuban place was Cafe Toque Cubano, and that's been there 10 months. And then this other place, when you turn the corner on Dania Beach Boulevard, is called Grandma's Secret, not Grandpa's. And you'll never guess. I mean, I'll give you like 2 wild guesses.
I'm going to give Lubie the first shot. I happen to see the post that you had.
Indian.
Yeah.
Indian food.
All right, you're in the right continent. And you know what? I'm going to give you a hint that relates to presidential politics. Do you remember the guy Herman Cain, who is now no longer with us?
Yes.
And I think he was again, he was, I guess, making fun of some, or he was talking about. He was asked some foreign policy question. He couldn't pronounce the name of the country, but it's Uzbekistan is how he pronounced it. But Uzbekistan, it's Uzbek or Uzbeki cuisine. I guess Uzbekis are the people, and Uzbek is the cuisine. Have you ever heard of such a thing, Defo? Have you ever eaten?
Never heard of that. I saw you post it up, and I said, good discovery by Mayo. I will say this: somebody actually addressed this in that thread about the whole authentic thing and where can I get New York pizza and all of that. Made a lot of sense, right? That when people had a favorite place, like you would have you had your corner pizza place in Brooklyn. Nothing will ever be the same as that. That's always going to be your place. So if you're looking to find the exact same thing here in South Florida, your search will ultimately, as a lot of people have discovered, be futile. But that takes nothing away from what's actually down here, which is more mind blowing, I think, than you would find in any other city, except maybe New York, in terms of the amount of diversity that you can find in terms of different cuisine. So, yeah. I mean, just forget about it. You're never going to, find that first girlfriend again. It's gone.
No, just enjoy what we got.
For that, it's somebody else. You're probably never going to find it. You'll leave life totally dissatisfied, which is unfortunate because there are a lot of good opportunities out there. Just like there are probably many good women that would be satisfactory to somebody that missed their first girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go back in time, and you can't go home again, or that's the old saying. But
Thomas Wolfe, right there, you go.
Yeah,
way to come up with the name of the author there, Mayo. Nice job.
Yeah, well, I got the Uzbeki cuisine, so
that was good. No, that was good.
No, and look, that other post on the Let's Eat South Florida group this morning, that was addressing the whole issue of whether it's cheesesteaks and Philadelphia cheesesteaks or
that was a good one,
from New York. I mean, again, the word authentic to me is like the term Karen. It is like a word that is misused, abused, overused, because when people say authentic, as that post author pointed out, as you just praised him, is what people are saying. It's just whatever you grew up with.
Yes,
what's authentic to you. If you had a Nona that made meatballs using pork, beef, and veal, and your Nona made it just using beef, both of them are authentic recipes from the old country. It's just that one family didn't have the money to buy the veal and the pork or something. So authenticity is in the eye of the beholder, and I think, like the poster said, it's really the correct word is nostalgic. Some places just it hits that chords of bringing you back to a time and place that maybe no longer exists, and we're all searching for something that maybe is gone forever. But again, just enjoy what we have around us now. And never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to run into both a Cuban ventanita and an Uzbek restaurant on my walk today, because usually in my neighborhood it's just a bunch of Italian restaurants, pizza joints, and Chinese takeaway places. So good on them. I wish the new owners of this Grandma's Secret success. I met the proprietor.
What's on the menu? What kind
of so I was going to post the menu, but I ran out of time on that other thing. I was going to put it in the threads. But here, let me give you some. They have breakfast, and they have some interesting things for breakfast. One is called calvatar, which is fried dough with sugar. And then
sounds like Zeps for breakfast.
Well, I don't know. It says fried flour with sugar. They also have these You can't really see it on my camera here, but they have these breakfast platters. It looks like with like it says it has like a olive. They're assorted. They have this Uzbeki pancakes, which look like roll-ups, like kind of blintzes. It looks like pancake with yogurt. They have it says hard-boiled eggs and all kinds of breads and jams and whatever. These breakfast platters looks interesting. But then later in the day, they have hot soups and appetizers. They have this. They have baked traditional Uzbek bread, which looks interesting. They have something called samsa with pumpkin, which is a puff pastry dough with pumpkin.
Were there
Those
people
look like-
there? Like, how was it? Because I've never. It says it's in Asia, so it's curious to me. Like the kind of
Well, Uzbek, a former Soviet Republican, filled mostly with. Yeah, it's near. It's not Eastern Europe. It's actually what would we call Western Asia? Near where like Mongolia and some of those other Ulaanbaatar. I don't know. I'm just making Ulaanbaatar. I don't know what I'm making up places now.
cuisine doesn't sound Asia. It sounds a little bit like a mixture.
Well, I guess it's a mixture. It looks, like a lot of, they got kebabs and things like that, which are like kind of the Turkish and things along there, Mediterranean Turkish. But all the meats are halal because Uzbekistan is a predominantly Muslim country. So they're serving halal meats. And here's something interesting, something called sherpa, which is like a lamb and carrot potato soup. They have a dumpling soup. They have all kinds of, it's just interesting. I always like going to a place where even me and my well-traveled palate has never encountered some of these foods. And so I'm looking forward to something called kukski, which is a cold soup. Of course, we know that. And
I just love a place that serves a good hard-boiled egg. I see that on the menu. I immediately think, hey, cancel my reservations everywhere else in town. I'm going there.
Well, this is it's a kuksi. It says it's a traditional noodle, beef, soy sauce, cucumber, tomato, egg, and cabbage soup. So it's kind of
You're even stumped by this line of
yeah.
You have no idea what this stuff is.
There's something called beshbar mak, which is a.
I think you have to schedule a show there. That would be the only solution to trying to figure out what you're talking about. Yeah.
And of course, when I go in and I introduce myself to the, I didn't tell him.
Cowered in fear, probably when he saw you. It was worse
No,
than
he did not have any clue who I was, nor did I say anything about the group or this show or my former jobs. But I said, so what kind of food? Originally I thought somebody told me it was Peruvian. He goes, no, Asian. I said Asian because I looked at the menu and I didn't notice. It's not what you usually consider Asian. He goes, well, Uzbeki, and
right.
And I said, what's your name? He goes, Joe.
Joe from Cleveland. Yeah, he opened a Uzbekian restaurant.
Joe's from.
Were there any people in there when you got there?
Yeah, there was a couple of people.
Okay.
It was early for the lunch hour because I was in there right about noon. But yeah, they redecorated because it used to be one of these like mainly takeaway places that had a counter with a couple of seats. Yeah. They've redecorated, and then for the space that they have, they made a lovely couple of tables, 2 tops and 4 tops, a couple of tables outside. I'm really looking forward to going.
How early were you schwitzing when you met the owner?
Not too bad because
okay.
It's pretty cool
because it's windy out there today. Yeah, okay.
It is windy today.
All right, well, that's a new discovery, Mike Mayo. I tell you what, my favorite thing that was posted on Let's Eat South Florida any time in the last 6 months was I guess he's in a Western General or something, and he's posting of the hospital food that he had. Where he had the smoked salmon and and I'm wondering how many people, the comments were great, but the usual critical commentary was also attached to some of the responses that were given on that thread. But that didn't look half bad, I have to say. I really wanted to try a taste. You ever been to a hospital, to visit somebody and you wanted to eat their little Jell-O with the pineapple piece in it?
I've done that. I've had various stints in various hospitals, but down here, with my mom and dad, and sometimes they bring out that food, and with my mom.
Are you going to eat that? No, yeah, exactly.
And I was like, the roasted chicken at Memorial that comes out was juicy and succulent. I dug in on that stuff after Mom she passed out, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to finish.
Yeah, you were hoping she would fall asleep, that the drugs would kick in, so that you could sneak a piece of that chicken breast. Nice.
Meanwhile, we do wish get well soon to our man Andy. and I guess he was at West Side Regional, which is in Plantation, which doesn't, I would never figure on it having a decent, grilled salmon, baked salmon dinner. It looked like it was properly done. I've had pieces of fish that were more well hammered at, Michelin star places, but I was griping because he raved about the chicken soup, and I said, "Where's a picture of it?" He didn't post a picture of the soup.
That's it. Ban him from the group. No more posts for Andy. Sorry,
camera,
Andy. You're 86th.
the camera's got to eat first. And no, but we wish him again get well soon. Hopefully, he can get out of there. It doesn't sound promising for him making it to this Sunday's brunch bash at Gulfstream. But
In what sense? Like physically making it out there, or just making it out there? Period. Making it. Period.
Yeah. Well, we want him to get out of the hospital and get home soon.
He'll be out there.
It seems like it's been a rough week for some of our Lunchbox regulars. I saw Tom T. He is going to be serving his usual Louisiana kitchen fare tonight at I think it's Nobo Brewing, but he was getting some treatment yesterday, getting hooked up to IVs and antibiotics because I think he has some issues with his leg and foot.
Oh, I thought he signed with the Rams or something. It was like halftime a game in Hot City.
He's getting juiced up, getting a little IV. Yeah, but meanwhile, Tom, I'm looking forward to because he's debuting a new menu item, Yucca Men, which in New Orleans it's known as Old Sober. Have you ever encountered that on the streets of New Orleans? The
Yucca Men. No, the only thing I encountered on the streets were people asking for money, guys that were about to throw up, and lucky dogs, which are among my. They wouldn't be. See, that's one that's not typical New York hot dogs, right? It's nothing like getting a hot dog on the street in New York, but it's a great hot dog.
It's a great hot dog. It's not an authentic New York hot dog.
Not even close. No indications that they had New York roots with these dogs, but classic. I actually bought a piece of artwork, Jackson Square, and what was it? My favorite thing, pop art there, the Lucky Dog cart, which is also a classic. If I could buy one and have it as a piece of furniture, I would. But that's about it. I've never encountered. What was that again? You asked about on the streets?
Yucca Men.
Yucca Men.
I've never heard of
this. Crazy guys, no question. I don't know. Define Yucca. Does that mean somewhat of a lunatic?
So it's a descendant of a Chinese noodle soup, which I have seen at many restaurants in New York and takeout joints. Even here, they call it Yatka Men with a T, Yatka, and then Yatka Men it's a classic noodle soup with either pork or chicken. But in New York, they call it Yaka. Yaka Men, and it's all one word, and it's
China,
become this
wonton.
I was going to say it sounds.
You get that one little piece of pork. I always love that at the bottom of the wonton soup. You got a giant quart portion of it.
In the New Orleans Yucca Men, and again, known as Old Sober, it became this like tradition. I don't know if it was whether during like New Year's time or during the whole. Mardi Gras time, but when people would overindulge after their drinking sessions, either in the wee hours of the morning or even early mornings, there'd be carts or trucks serving Yucca Men, and it's basically a Chinese, Asian broth noodle soup, usually chicken or beef, and then with noodles, and then also a boiled egg, which is a key component of Yucca Men, and pieces of vegetables and meat.
I don't think I'm buying that off a guy on the street. Are you?
You eat that on the street?
I would. Depends how drunk I was.
How do you eat that though? You're standing up eating soup.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing, a slurping
It's usually
thing.
like 1,000 degrees on Bourbon Street most of the times that I've been there too. I don't know that I'm going for a soup that some guy
in a bowl
that I just saw playing drums on some garbage pails, looking for money, was selling on the corner. That might be a little bit risque there.
Yes.
Brennan's wouldn't be just okay with you. I mean, just go there and get the eggs Benedict. No,
look, it's one of those things. Street food is a wonderful thing to explore, depending on what city you're in.
But it's usually hand stuff. It's not like a bowl of.
This is in a bowl, and you could slurp it, and you get. I don't know if they serve it with chopsticks or a spoon, but you get the.
You're eating soup with chopsticks now.
Ramen. They'll do with the.
Ramen. You have the noodles and all the junk and the egg and the meat and the noodles with the chopsticks, and then you just kind of pick up the bowl and just slurp it, like
that would be my move from the beginning. Yeah, you could throw the chopsticks out.
So anyway, he's going to be doing that tonight, and also Friday in Fort Lauderdale at Roxanne's.
Where's
Supper
that?
Club.
Roxanne's.
It's on Federal Highway, right around the Big Bend, where the Sears town used to be. And
Oh,
Sears, they're going to be knocking it down, but it's right on that strip. Along, there's a bunch of old. There was some, I guess, consignment stores. There used to be like another bar there called the Cubby Hole. I don't know if that was a gay bar or not, but then Roxanne's has been there for a few years now. They call it a supper club, but it's mainly a bar, and they bring in visiting chefs and have food on the weekends. So Tom's going to be there Friday night.
Is he doing his menu? What is he doing? This is.
I think he's just going to do yak men and a couple of other easy items. Kind of maybe some of the gumbos or red beans and rice. I'm not sure, but go to Tom's Louisiana Kitchen page for the details. If you're in Fort Lauderdale and you want to check out the yak men and some of his other great Cajun Creole staples. All right. My instant critique of this Cuban sandwich, and this is not necessarily critiquing this place, the Cafe Toque in Dania. It's just a structural change in Cuban sandwiches over the years. You talk about authentic. I don't know what's authentic or not, because depending on where you're from, a Cuban sandwich in Tampa, the authentic ones have salami on it, which the professor would kill you if you served him.
That's not a Cuban
with salami, and everybody says that's not a Cuban. Well, it is in Tampa, in Ybor City. Defo, have you ever had a Cuban sandwich with the salami on it?
And I want to say yes to that, because I did spend some time, covering sports in Tampa, where I was there for longer than just a few days, and somewhere along the way, I probably ventured into Ybor City and had one of those sandwiches, but I don't remember it's striking me one way or the other in terms of being a great Cuban sandwich.
I think a salami would just. I think it just overwhelms.
I would say negative to putting the salami on it, because I like the traditional stuff that you get down here.
Well, when I talk,
is that authentic, or is the Tampa authentic? Which is authentic?
It depends where you're from, and
there you go.
That's it.
I don't think I think everywhere else in the world makes it the way we make ours, and they make theirs one way. So to me, it feels like this is the baseline, and they just screwed with it.
I don't know. I haven't had Cuban sandwiches everywhere else in the world. I've only really had them here in South Florida, and I've never had the Tampa style, because every time I go to Tampa, I'm either at Mons Venus or Burns. So that's not fair. I went to the Columbia restaurant last time I was there, but that is they are known for their Cuban sandwiches. But at lunchtime, and I didn't go there for lunch. I was there for dinner. But anyway, getting back to my original point, when I first moved to South Florida in the late 1980s, Defo, when I ordered a Cuban sandwich, you would never, ever, ever in a million years find this, which is the shredded pork, the lechon asado.
No, that's a variation on a theme too.
This is what has taken hold in the last, I'm going to say, 15 years.
Way more moist.
It's no, that's what all the chefs say. Oh, when you use the lechon asado, it's moister and more flavorful. But that's not what I want. What I want from an authentic Miami Cuban sandwich, or the ones that I first encountered when I grew up here, when I moved here, I was already a grown human being, is flat. The flatness of a Cuban sandwich is what held its the allure. When you have slices of ham and sliced roast pork shoulder, where you'd slice it in a slicer, and then you'd layer it, and it'll be just flat. And you put the Swiss cheese, the yellow mustard, the pickles, you put it into the sandwich press, and you would get it completely flat and crispy. So it would almost be like smushed down to like nothing, but it would have all these layers. And when it was fresh off the press, it was a thing of beauty. And my favorite one, Defo, we've talked about this before, was at two racetracks in the 305, Calder and Hialeah. Both had fantastic.
They have good Cuban sandwiches, no question.
And in my mind, made the proper old school way with the flat roasted pork that you sliced in a slicer, and it was stacked in a very neat flat pile. Again, these things now, to me, this lechon asado, it's tasty, but it almost overwhelms. You can't even tell that there's a piece of ham on here, and it almost overwhelms the Swiss cheese.
So you just found this place and you're never going back? I
did not say that, because even like traditional Cuban restaurants near me, like
was that the only version of it that they had?
Yeah,
that's what they call their Cuban sandwich.
I did not ask whether they had the flat roast pork.
Did you call for a manager?
No, because that's not the point. The point is now there are certain styles there are some places that just exclusively serve this type with the lechon asado, with the shredded roasted pork,
Yes, yes.
which to me it's all falling out and it overwhelms the other flavors. And but even a place that I really admire and respect, Las Vegas Cuban cuisine,
Yeah.
which now they're all over the place. They started off in Hollywood. They again, immigrant family that came over in the I guess it was the Mario boat lift in the early '80s, and they started
Yeah.
this Cuban restaurant. And there's one near me in on Sheridan Street in Hollywood. I'm sorry, Sterling Road in Hollywood. And when I go there and get a Cuban sandwich, it's the same thing. They have the shredded lechon on it instead of the slice, and they have what I consider another shanda. They put mayonnaise on it too, and I couldn't believe that because
Mayonnaise. Wow.
my mind, yeah, you just made a mayo face
Yeah.
because in my mind, mayonnaise never belongs on a Cuban sandwich
like it.
unless somebody requests it. It should only be that yellow mustard, which
Yep.
ordinarily I hate yellow mustard, but it belongs on a
It
Cuban.
works on a Cuban sandwich.
All those flavors together work. Look, I usually lean your way with the flat because it's easier to eat, and I hate eating a sandwich and it breaking apart. But I've also learned during this show, flavors are very important, and a term Defo loves to throw out, and you throw a flavor bomb, all that. The flavors are better when it's the lechon asada to me because it's a more flavorful pork. When they do it the slice, it's a lot drier and there's not as much to it. And I get what you're saying. You almost want that because then you get the ham and you get the pickle and you get the Swiss cheese and you
I get the crunch. I get more of the crunch from the sandwich press.
I'm
And-
not such a crunch like you. I actually like the moist pork with the ham. As long as sometimes they put too much. Sometimes they put like a crap load of it.
I
Then
Yep.
it overpowers. I like when it's more evenly distributed, where you get a few pieces of ham and you get the pork. And
I
then,
got another issue with the sandwich, which is they put it on the sandwich press, but they didn't slather on the butter or the margarine or the whatever lard, the thing that you're supposed to put on the top that gives it that sheen and then that really good crunch, and it makes it a little greasy when you pick it up. But this one's completely dry. Maybe they saw me coming as the gringo, because I spoke English or something, and they didn't want to maybe make it too authentic. But look, I don't mean to hammer the place. I'm very happy it's there. I'm going to stop off there for some cortaditos and culadas and all the little sweet, sugary coffee that pick me up in the day. And then maybe I'll argue about Cuban politics or something too. I don't know. Losing my mind. Defo, have you... what have you been up to lately? Have you eaten anything new and exciting, or
Nothing especially new or exciting. I did stop in somehow. I had a craving for Whole Foods chili yesterday, and I happened to be passing by a Whole Foods, so I went in there and I got myself a large vat of that, which was good. And it's funny because it's different in different places. That they don't all make the same exact one, but always very tasty. A little bit of a collaboration on the price, but you're going into something that's going to be a little higher than if
Yeah.
you went to Wendy's and bought two large.
they have good
chilies.
product? No,
Yeah.
they have very good
But
product.
the food itself was great. I mean, I only intended to have a couple of spoonfuls, and I actually ended up. This could be another subject for dining while driving. I ended up eating some of it in the car. I'm ashamed to admit.
Now you can't eat chili with a
And it
spoon.
was
Did
on
you toast
fire
it?
too. I mean, because and you know how the they don't have a styrofoam thing. They have whatever I guess would be more standard cardboard or whatever. And the thing doesn't always stay together, so you have to be careful. You can't squeeze the thing, or all of a sudden you have molten chili all over your lap while you're trying to drive. But I managed to
Try it with a
navigate my way through
straw
that.
next time. Put it in a big
No,
like
I mean this
styrofoam
stuff.
cup.
It was spicy. I mean, they're not afraid to put a little kick in that. So that was good. And I don't know. I mean, is it especially more healthy for you because they're using better ingredients or something because it's at Whole Foods, or is it just like some Hormel that they dumped in there and
No. They use
spruced
good
up a little bit?
they use good quality meat, beef. Was this like little ground beef type, or was it like beef to the chuck, or,
beef chili with beans. Like I said, I've had it at other Whole Foods. There's another one that I go to once in a while when I do go there, and their same chili, beef chili, is a lot different in terms of consistency, but both were equally good. So that was it. That was my
Well,
exciting dining adventure.
I don't mean to horrify you, but last night after I got bounced from a poker tournament,
Skyline? Oh yeah.
I had a frozen thing of Skyline, and I
Oh,
made the
frozen
Skyline
Skyline. See that's really
frozen.
it's one thing. I know the proprietors there are very nice at the Skyline Chili and Davy.
But this was from
Couldn't be any
Publix.
nicer. It would be a reason to go and frequent their restaurant just because of their graciousness in serving people, and you expect the fact that they're serving and cooking and they own the joint. But frozen, come on, Mayo.
Well, the Skyline chili product.
How could you ever criticize anybody on Let's Eat South Florida when this is your go-to meal? When you and this isn't the first time though. I mean,
It's a
the
go-to
fact that you
punishment.
even have it in your freezer and it isn't 10 years old, like it isn't something you found
a-
in the freezer in your garage.
My
You know,
favorite
yeah.
is this next thing he's going to say, because it's not only that it's frozen, it's that he's done the taste test between canned and frozen,
Yes.
and had a preference between the canned and the frozen. The fact that he's ever even done this is what grossed me out. I don't
Yeah.
mind Skyline.
What
Why are you taste testing their canned? And go to Skyline or don't. Like,
Here's what I realized last night. Okay, number one, I'd much prefer to go in person to the Skyline where Tony Doyle and his lovely wife Jennifer are ladling it out fresh and hot on University Drive in Sunrise. But when that's not possible, okay, I had the frozen product from the
You
freezers
should
of
move to
Publix.
Cincinnati, man. You'd be a great food critic there for the Inquirer. The
I
Cincinnati
made it last
Inquirer,
night.
not the actual Inquirer.
At
Although
the
you might
actual-
fit in with the National Enquirer also. The way
At the
you're
actual
going there.
restaurant, you get more of the hints of the nutmeg and the cinnamon and some of the spices and flavorings that people seem to despise. But I like it because it's different. Again, don't think of it as chili. Think of it as Greek spaghetti sauce, because that's really the true origins of it.
make it better.
Now,
Give
when
me
I
Skyline
had
Greek
it
spaghetti.
last night, before I put it on the spaghetti, which I made fresh, and pile on the shredded cheddar cheese.
Oh,
which
so you
kinda-
had to bring your own ingredients?
No, that-
This is like a can of King
Let me-
chow mein. I mean,
Let
what
me
are
do
you
this
talking
real
about?
quick, okay? They give you two options in the frozen aisle at Publix. You could get the
Yeah,
Skyline
run or turn
Run
yourself
or
in and
hide.
be
Right,
Baker
no,
acted. Yeah,
no, okay.
exactly.
No. One is just the chili itself, and the other one is the chili with the spaghetti, but the spaghetti's frozen, and then you end up paying more for the spaghetti. I'd rather make my own fresh spaghetti and put more of the glop on top of it. But
Why don't you get some
before
Greyhound
I got
spaghetti sauce or something?
Isn't there
That would be a
better
lot better,
chili
man.
pie?
Spend a few bucks,
to
Mayo,
cook
and
the
get something
spaghetti,
decent.
I cooked the chili by itself before the spaghetti was ready, and I took a spoonful of it, and you know what I realized, Defo?
It's terrible.
It's complete trick, and it's
It
really
really is.
salty.
It's garbage. I mean,
It's really, really salty. The frozen product,
Just gonna say,
oh, okay.
the frozen product, I don't even detect any of those other spices like the cinnamon or the.
I would imagine they
nutmeg.
amplify the preservative factor quite a
It
bit.
was just
Also,
all I tasted was salt. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. And yet then I proceeded to pour it on my spaghetti with
Course you
some
ate it all,
shredded
yeah.
cheese and a little hot sauce and some of those oyster egg crackers. And I just ate it up as I was watching the Arizona Diamondbacks stun the world at 50. Well, what are they? 50 to 1 to win
50
it
to
all?
1. That was before the postseason started. They were 125 to 1 spring training,
Yeah.
according to Jim
So-
Sarney, our resident Elias Sports Bureau statistician on odds and wagering. And yeah, before the postseason, though, the two teams at the bottom in terms of odds, now it's in a field of 12. So you had 250 to 1 shots, the Marlins and the Diamondbacks.
There you go.
And,
And look at
you know,
that. They're
they're
both
sitting there
wild
on the
cards.
cusp of, getting, a chance to, well, they're going to get a chance to win the world title.
I've lost track of how baseball does things. Who has home field advantage? It's not based off the All-Star game winner, is it?
No, it's
No,
about-
that's been squashed.
And so now who has the
I'm
better
not sure
record?
if it's better record. I would say that would be my guess. I don't think they alternate back and forth anymore.
So who has the home field advantage? Where does the series begin? Is it in Arizona?
I'm not sure. I'm going to
or
say that the
Texas?
Rangers had a better record.
Yeah, actually, two main teams. That's true. Who
Yeah.
would have a better record?
Here we are, a bunch of sports experts, 2-3 days out before game one. Of
It's
the
no
World
disgrace
Series.
not to know that though off the top of your head, because
But you know the odds of each team to win it all.
Obviously, that's what matters.
Well, the Rangers I
that's-
think were 12 to 1 before the postseason got underway,
Bunch of
because
degenerates.
they were sort of suspect also.
You people. Hey, let's take our first break, and I got to give the good word for our friends at Tropical Acres. Today is Wednesday, which means you could go in there and get the great happy hour in the bar from 4:30 to 6:30. We get the half price drinks. Like my specialty is the Belvedere Martini. That last time was $7. I didn't know if it was 7 or 8, but either way, that's a great value. Get some of those light bites at the bar, like those beautiful sirloin sliders, escargot, caprese salad. They have that. And then you go into the main dining room for your full dinner, where you can get the $39 twin lobster special, still available just for a few more weeks, but beautiful steamed live Maine North Atlantic lobsters, £1.25 each, along with salad and side dish. It's a great meal and a great value. That's the kind of stuff you find at Tropical Acres, along with the classics, the steaks, the prime rib, rack of lamb, all the favorites. The Studiali family, they've been doing it for generations, decades. It's been there since 1949, and it is the place to go holiday season. If you're looking for a holiday party venue for your office or family, they have private rooms, and they can handle groups of any size. And of course, Thanksgiving, they're open from 1 to 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. It is filling up the book, so if you want to get in there for your Thanksgiving meal, give them a call at 954-989-2500, 954-989-2500, tropicalacres.com for all the information. It's on Griffin Road, just west of the airport and 95. We love it there. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Early in my existence here in South Florida, I lived in Coral Gables for a while, and I'm blanking. I'm hoping somebody can help me out on the chat line. I tried to look it up here during the show. There was a Cuban sandwich place. One of these places. What did you call it again? The whole window concept.
Well,
there?
There's Cuban restaurants all over the place, but the ones that
I'm just talking
the
about
Ventanita. The Ventanita is
right,
the sidewalk window. Yeah.
Well, they had the Ventanita pretty much. It was almost like all the way around the place, but they had it on a couple of different sides, and you could eat in there.
Latin American.
It was on Coral Way. Was it? Was it Latin American?
I think it's Latin American.
Really? Latin American Cafe. I think it's still there.
That was it. Yeah. No, that was great, and that was my introduction to Cuban sandwiches. So, I don't know that I would call anything else authentic after having that, because they did a great job, and they would have like 100 of them kind of ready to go, even though they were relatively
pre-made.
fresh.
But
the guy was slicing. I mean, they were selling them so fast. They were moving so fast that it didn't matter. Like,
it's like a pizza slices, like slices at a New York pizza joint. They move so fast, you never get an old, tired slice. That's a topic I want to talk about, because I got.
And then they had other stuff. I mean, but the Cuban sandwich there was spectacular, absolutely great. I would go out of my way to get that Cuban sandwich. Is it still there in Coral Way? Because there's been a lot of changes.
I think there's a few of them.
There's been a lot of changes.
I think there's still a bunch of Latin American. I don't know if that one is still there.
They might have had another one. In Homestead? Is that possible?
They're pervasive. I think they're all. I think that's one of the places.
They're all over. They're actually in Pembroke Pines now.
Yeah,
they're in Lakes.
Very
They're
good.
in Hialeah Gardens. They've become one of these regional chains, just like Las Vegas Cuban cuisine.
I'm
not sure if it's changed. If that's diminished the overall product, but this is going back over 40 years, and I was absolutely amazed. I was blown away. I love the Cuban sandwich and the black beans and rice. So, it's been a search ever since to find a similar place. Latin America Cafe. Very good, Mike Mayo. All right, coming back with more. Mike Mayo complains about a Cuban sandwich that he...
Next, I'll complain about a pizza slice that I had over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't want to put it on
What was that thing? It looked like you had picked it out of the grass. You had a picture of a slice of pizza.
Well, that was a slice in Boca last week at Thick and Thin, which was actually...
Did you pick that off the sidewalk?
No, I just took a picture with the grass in the background.
Oh, okay.
By the way, the Rangers
I thought some dog had let that go, and you had picked it up and decided to eat it and then give it a critique, which was great.
Game 1 in Arlington Friday night, as Lubie has done.
The better record, yeah. All right, we're going to come back with more Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me. I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices, served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Lubie, hello. Are we back? Are we doing more? Hello. Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasta platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova, or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. I do have the Grandma's Secret menu in front of me. Look at this. Some of their main courses looks beautiful. We got these like rice dishes with meat and Defoe's favorite, the hard-boiled eggs. So that's good. Grandma's Secret.
Oh, the way you describe it, it was like they were selling you like one hard-boiled egg as a menu item.
No, they lace a lot of their dishes with the hard-boiled eggs, which is a Uzbeki staplety, a specialty, obviously.
Is there a reason people go? I mean, there's probably some good reason for this, but when you see like hard-boiled eggs pre-made that are available in the grocery store,
I used to buy them, and I don't understand.
How about the pickled eggs? Some people like
pickled eggs is a different thing, but would you ever buy like a bag of hard-boiled eggs? Would there be a reason?
No.
Is that like some time saver while you're cooking something else?
As they say,
you would think it would be the last thing you would want to do.
Yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Make it at home.
Latin America cafeteria still exists on Coral Way.
Excellent.
And they have way more than just a Cuban sandwich. I mean, they have a full menu. They serve breakfast. It's great.
That's good. Yeah, all right, this prepare to be disturbed. This is what happens to Skyline chili after you cook the frozen stuff in a microwave and then put it.
Yeah.
And
it
put
looks
it in
like
your
refrigerator. It looks better.
Look at it. It's like a Dairy Queen Blizzard. You can
again, it looks like you changed the diaper on the show.
It's completely solid, and it's like So what causes this is a lot of fat in there,
Oh
and then
my God, you really done that?
Think
What is
about it. I mean, this is a guy that's giving
Salt.
criticisms of
All
restaurants
salt.
and high-end chefs, and in his cabinet he has a can of Hormel chili, and in his freezer he's got frozen Skyline, where you still have to make the whole meal yourself after you buy the
Finger.
stuff.
Ooh, no, I had.
I don't even want to begin to describe what that looks
You
like.
didn't
It's got to be a real turn on for the people that are thinking about dining out, like at Cafe Seville or Tropical Acres tonight, to see you eating what looks like. I don't want to say it looks like
Baby.
something my dog left in the bathroom the
Yeah,
other
baby
night.
stuff.
With your fingers.
And as I eat it cold, you can maybe detect and pick up a little more of the spice flavorings, but overwhelming salt. So that frozen
Just
product.
going
I just want to make a statement here. This is entertainment, people.
Look, there are some things that aren't good, aren't meant to be reheated. Like if you go to Taco Bell, it's already whatever it is. To reheat Taco Bell is a weird move on your part. Like to go and reheat frozen Skyline. I mean, like
a lot of weird moves at this point. Speaking of weird ones, there was a post on Let's Eat yesterday that I actually found myself agreeing with. A woman wondered, is it me or are the skins on pickles getting harder? For the last few months, every pickle I've eaten, and I've tried several brands, has seemed to have a much tougher skin. And weirdly, this is one of those things that I said, you know what? She's right. I didn't realize it, but I've been eating a lot of, I like pickles. And again, I'm on a more healthful snack kick. I don't eat potato chips or nuts in the daytime now. Now I'll just nosh on a pickle. And the ones that I get, these Grillo's hot pickles, they've been exceptionally tough. And do you eat pickles or have you noticed this either one?
I'm a fan of pickles. I mean, I grew up where it was not uncommon to go to a deli and reach into the barrel there with the tongs and pick out a pickle, and always was a big fan. Also, I mean, if you read the label on even the pickle chips, there are 0 calories in pickles, which is kind of interesting. So you could eat like a whole stack of them as long as
a lot of salt.
Go sour. The sodium will kill you, but that's that's another consideration.
0
I have not noticed that, Mike Mayo, nor would I have a tendency to even delve into any kind of research in that category.
And then this being, Let's Eat, somebody said, I would immediately consult with a dentist or maxillofacial person for consultation because something might be wrong with your teeth.
So what does it boil down to? Like cucumber cultivation? What's the story?
I think my takeaway was is that like everything else, even the pickles realize that in this world today, you need much, much tougher and thicker skin.
Exactly.
So that's
that's an interesting observation off that. But no, I don't know. I mean, that would be one of those illuminating things where I'm glad I don't have to come to this conclusion myself that pickle skin is tougher today than it's ever been in the history of the pickle.
I happen to. I mean, it was one of those things I didn't really think about, but then when she
it
pointed
figures
out,
you would be the one comment that agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Defo, you missed a good one yesterday. The new chef.
Lubie said he was a great guy.
Oh no, he would have loved. Defo would have loved.
And he was a degenerate, and he'd been gambling his whole life.
You would have loved him. He was born on East Harlem, up in Manhattan, and his name is Fernando, and that makes me think of the races in Gulfstream and our Fernando, the bartender there. But this Fernando, a classically trained chef, he was going to be a criminologist. He was studying what was it, Lubie, like the some sort of forensic. Criminology, forensic psychology. At John Jay College in New York, which is a very esteemed school.
Are those things combinable? Forensic psychology.
And
what do? You scrape brain matter from a victim and try to figure out what he was thinking?
You psychoanalyze criminal crimes. What kind of person is maybe behind a string of crimes.
Usually a nutbag, yeah.
Well, but then he dropped that because he realized he loved the hospitality game, and he started working some really high-end places and Café des Artistes in Manhattan and Tavern on the Green. He was one of their top chefs for a while.
Bert gets these good people working for him. Yeah. He really does. Like, I mean, to come in there with like a resume that only has like one entry where you were like, a bar back for 6 months somewhere. That's not going to work if you want to become a chef at one of Bert's restaurants.
No, but the thing is, I think it's good to have that forensic psychology if you're going to be a chef or in the service industry in South Florida, between dealing with the guests and maybe some of the fellow cooks on the
You
line.
may need to be checked out by.
Oh, he was
Quincy
trying to
pretty soon.
analyze me.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he
right.
No,
was.
I mean you're going to need forensics. If you keep eating, even though you've cut down on some of the slop that you were encountering in your snack time. I mean, to have this whole thing, this image that you're trying to project of the new healthy Mayo, and then come home. I mean, you ruined like 2 months worth of work by coming home and eating frozen Skyline. Why
What's
even
your-
bother? Man?
What's your overriding theme? Self-sabotage, Defo. It's all about the
And I
self-sabotage.
mean that just blows
But-
the entire week of not or refraining from having things that you wanted.
But you would have dug this guy Fernando because again, he went to Belmont. He would go to the
Grew
Belmont
up on the
Steaks.
Belmont.
We were talking horses. He would love all the boxing stuff too. It sounds like
Yeah.
he
Oh, yeah.
spent a lot of time at the Garden. So that was nice getting out there with him yesterday.
It's always a good spot. It really
Yeah.
is.
Hey, and speaking of New York and New Yorkers, my man Larry Marks, one of the OG Let's Eaters, he put up a post earlier in the weekend lamenting or wondering about chocolate bells, which was a item that was a staple in Jewish bakeries in Brooklyn and New York. Are you familiar with the
What the-
chocolate bell?
You know what? I want to say no to that, although I probably have had it because my mother was always buying stuff like that,
What was
and I bought a lot of from Jewish delis, a lot of food that was used to be common in her native Poland/Germany. So it wasn't uncommon for her to bring home a pastry that was absolutely dynamite.
Charlotte Russe used to be
yeah.
a big one. That was in
Yeah.
the paper push-up cup, but apparently that
Oh yeah, I used to get those too.
the paper push-up company is out of business, and apparently nobody else has figured out how you can make those or make a Charlotte Russe without them. So that's
With the
kinda
little
fallen
stick,
over.
and you push the thing up.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
great.
yeah. But meanwhile, the chocolate bell was a chocolate covered, basically like a chocolate ganache that would cover the top part was whipped cream or buttercream, and the base was either chocolate cake or a sponge cake. I've seen it in both varieties. The ones I used to get, I think, would have a chocolate cake with like a whipped cream topping. Anyway, Larry Marks has tracked down, or he's commissioned, I guess there's a bakery in Sunrise called Shlomo's Bakery. I don't know if it's a kosher bakery or not, but they're making
sounds
a-
kosher. I'm going to go
Yeah,
kosher.
he's freaking Shlomo.
Unless Shlomo Glickstein, the former tennis player, is running the joint.
So they are making, especially for us, a dozen bells, chocolate bells.
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
supposed
get
to-
out of here.
I'm supposed
Nice.
to rendezvous with Larry later, and I
Oh,
will
nice.
I will show some, or maybe bring some tomorrow to.
Bring it
It's a
tomorrow.
lot better to see you eat that on the show than
Bring it
stick your
tomorrow.
finger in some what
Yeah.
would look like baby diarrhea. That was. I know you
just
do
wanna
it to be especially disgusting because you want to. You're secretly angry at all of Let's Eat South Florida people.
Yeah, this is me.
That's the
lashing
funny.
out.
The only reason you do this show is to get back at them.
I not only bite the hand that feeds me, I
Yeah.
lick the hands with
Exactly.
baby diarrhea.
Because nobody would expect this of the guy that's running the site.
Nobody would expect.
yeah.
Nobody expects this. But anyway, tomorrow we're going to be at Even Keel Fish Shack. That I'm
Well,
looking forward to, up in
always
Laredo
great.
by the sea
Yeah.
near you. And I will bring these. Hopefully, I can
Oh,
get
great.
these chocolate bells,
Nice.
and we'll have that as a little dessert celebration.
Invite Jim Sarney. He loves that sort
I was
of
going
stuff.
to say,
Sarni?
Sarni
Yeah.
kind of a move. Sarni's are
Sarni,
just,
come on out. Sarni, come on out. And I'm talking about coming
But for
on
one
out.
time, he doesn't have to bring the cake
yeah, he
This
always
is
to the
yeah.
party. Yeah.
That's it. And again, final call for our Sunday brunch bash this Sunday at Gulfstream Park. Joe Beja, the great executive director of hospitality, is welcoming not only contest winners, and there's going to be 9 of them in all with their guests, along with the 3 of us. And it looks like so far almost like 28 to 30 paying guests
Wow.
coming to Gulfstream. Even Joe was astounded, like, wow, that's a
Joe
big
might
number.
get some of his money back off of us.
Yeah.
That's good.
So again, but
What was
it's
that bill that Dave Joseph handed you for the comp meals that we had?
yeah, $3,480.
I don't know.
He said, "Did you have to invite Segreto?"
Guess we'll have to
And you're like great like that with Joe Beja's money, and I guess it's Dave Joseph's. Where, people are just in the crowd. Hey, come on, yeah, order something. What do you
emotional consideration. I invited Chris Perkins out this week. Once again, he has to work. He wrote a good column today that kind of was a reality check on the Dolphins. I don't know if you got to check that out, but
I
just
didn't
kind of
see that, no.
saying, no, you should check it out. Perkins wrote a good one, kind of pointing out that for all the accolades the Dolphins offense is receiving, is that they've really have fallen flat and not been at all impressive against winning teams in the last 2 years, and seem to fall flat in all these big barometer games. And that the Dolphins are just, they're in first place, but there are big question marks. And when you break down some of the numbers, Maybe they're not all that. But anyway, I thought it was a good column. He can't make it this week out to Gulfstream with us on Friday. But hopefully next Friday when we're out there, he will join us, and always good to see him. Defo, we got to take one more break, but the New York Post, I actually caught a story in the New York Post today about tipping again.
Oh yeah,
Did
I
you
was
see
going to
that
mention
one?
that, but you always get frantic if I bring up something out of the New York Post and then go into your whole Rupert Murdoch speech. But yeah, it was interesting, and they said that, and I don't know, is this true that Miami is the only place where it's universal?
Well, that was why I thought it was interesting for our purposes, because you have this New York Post piece that was kind of lamenting now how all these restaurants that are instituting these auto gratuity policies in New York City, and not just for larger parties, which is the way it used to be here, but now even up there, they're imposing it on every check, even for parties of 1 and 2 and 3. And it's especially in these kind of touristy areas. I thought it
Yeah,
amusing.
it
But
makes some sense though, since tipping customs are so different worldwide.
yes,
That when you have these like melting pot places, and you're going to get a lot of tourism like New York or Miami, I mean, well, the server shouldn't necessarily be subjected to the fact that a person thinks they're being very generous by leaving you a dime,
right,
like they do in Canada.
right.
Which
Because
I
it's
don't know. I
already
mean, and we would insult the Canadians about being cheap tippers or whatever, but if that's their custom, that's their custom. So
because
it's a necessity then to just whack them, with the 20% right on the check. And
service is
you have to be upfront about it. That's the only thing.
right. Service is built into the pricing of the menu items in Europe and Canada.
Yeah.
That's not the case here. So, like you said, in Miami, which is again a global, a hub of everything. So a lot of the restaurants just automatically impose the 18 or 20% gratuity. I thought the Post piece was amusing because they quoted this, tourist family from Alabama that was going to some tourist trap restaurant in Times Square, and they're complaining about, hey, they charged us 20% gratuity and they didn't even give good service. They could give 2 flying figs about us. And I was like, well, maybe,
They size you up as hillbillies right away and realize they were still going to get
maybe
their
What are the
20%.
tourist traps?
maybe if you ventured out of Times Square and all those Elmos swarming, but maybe if you go to the outer boroughs and find some authentic neighborhood cuisine, you would also escape the auto gratuity. And but that's on them. But anyway, that's it. I
I
did
don't have a
write that.
problem with it, really. I mean, as long as that you're not fooled and you don't see the 20% added, and then you're going to tip 20% on top of that. And that's not right. But as long as that people know that up front, I have no problem with it. I think it should be more universal, actually.
Yeah, why
Oh,
not?
wow. Look
It's
at
a
that. Spoken like a former server. All right. We got to take one more break, and we got to talk, put in the kind words about our friends at Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market. They are open 7 days a week. They have the freshest in not just seafood, but poultry, steaks, meats, sausages, all that stuff made fresh in house that they have. Great products. The fish dip is world famous. They have the broasted and rotisserie chicken that you could bring home if you want. But the stars of the show, especially this time of year, that fresh Florida seafood, stone crabs straight from the traps, Florida lobster tails, fish like grouper and yellowtail snapper. All those greatest hits are lined up right along the display cases there. Love the place. We love Doug Carter and his crew, Jose and Gene, the managers that take such great care of us when we go in for our monthly visits, and they'll take great care of you when you stop in for your weekly shopping for this whatever upcoming weekend, cookouts, football games. Don't forget Thanksgiving is coming up, so you want to get in there and order your Thanksgiving turkey for pickup Thanksgiving week. I can't wait. We're going to be out there the week before Thanksgiving, Thursday the 16th, and Gene is going to be preparing a traditional Thanksgiving feast for us.
Oh, sweet!
So
Wow.
we're going to have a Friendsgiving.
Gonna have that wild turkey. We're gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
to sample it. Oh, okay.
Fresh
Cool.
killed turkey. Well,
Nice.
it's farm raised turkey that
that's
they bring in,
nice.
but it's all fresh killed, never frozen, and you can really taste the difference there. Delaware is at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, and go to DelawareChicken.com for the weekly specials and the daily offerings, and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, we're gonna come back and say goodbye in just a minute here on a Lunchbox.
People come to me and say, Mike, go out to eat. I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. It's Mayo here for Prezzo Italian Restaurants. 2 locations, Boca Raton at Park Place on Military Trail and Palm Beach Gardens in the PGA Commons on PGA Boulevard. Contemporary Italian cuisine with house-made pastas, wood-fired pizzas, salads, veal, chicken, and of course their famous focaccia bread with oven-roasted garlic bulbs. In Garlic We Trust is their slogan, and you can trust Prezzo for a great experience with gracious service and tremendous value. Open 7 days, featuring brunch, lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Great wine deals and full bar at both locations. For reservations and more information, go to eatprezzo.com. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're out of time. That's going to do it. Tomorrow we'll be at Even Keel Fish Shack. Friday, as usual, at Gulfstream Park. And again, I forgot to give out the Sunday, the brunch bash, $40 a person, discounted rate. We're going to be there from 12 o'clock on. And if you want to join us, just email me at mikemayoeats@gmail.com with your name and the number of people in your party. Again, it looks like we're going to have a crew of about 50 out there, which is pretty impressive. Going to tell Joe to.
There'll be more people there for this thing than there were at the Live Golf Tournament at the round. Literally, I don't know if you saw the aerial shots of the crowd there, but it was embarrassing to say the least, Mr. Trump.
Did not. Oh, and this thing it triggered me because it made me think of Trump. Was it at the Trump Doral? But this just in, the House of Representatives finally has a new speaker, an election denier, and I guess we could celebrate with some lucky dogs and Yakka men because he's from Louisiana. His name is Mike Johnson, and he is the new Speaker of the House. So I guess God Save America or something.
Yeah,
like
another
that.
even more.
As long as he's not further to the right than the fabled Attila the Hun.
But that's it. Meanwhile, I never got to my lousy slice that I had this past week. But forget about
Save
that.
that for
now.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll
good.
save it for tomorrow. All right. For Jeff Deep the Forest, Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Mike Disgusting Mayo, and telling you to enjoy every Cuban sandwich.